Oh, did you just mute me or did God muted me? Yes, I will. Man, that was a heck of an intro, man. I was on the roll, man.
Crack me up, dude.
We're back. We're back, Ryan.
Eddie could hear us. You can turn my mic down a little bit if you want.
Oh, yeah. I'm feeling it right now, baby.
Aren't you always?
Usually, yeah. The Excluded Middle, Ryan, coming at you from the bunker.
Where we're not going to talk about urinals.
Yeah, dude, I watched that today. Dude, I was rolling, man. And then you cut it off. It just even made it even more funnier. You know what I mean? The way you cut that show off.
I think the best
that portion of it.
I think the best is hearing people in the background.
Oh, yeah, you could hear his buddy cracking up. Trish was rolling.
Yeah.
Dude, we were on a roll. Yeah, and then Trish is over here right now. And then Ryan, of course, the buzz killer, man, coming through.
I'll take that.
He's like, let's get serious. Well,
Ryan
I
didn't want to talk
type
about
of fella.
pee and urinals the whole time.
But it was funny, man. We were on a roll. Even your boy was cracking some good jokes, man. He had me rolling,
no,
dude.
He's good.
Like he was on point, man. Cracking me up, dude. Hey, man, I watched the show. Dude, he's so little. Like, we should have put him on a bigger chair, I think, man.
Dude, I didn't think about that until I feel bad for him because he isn't terrible tall. And it's kind of funny. Like, he stopped growing. I mean, I don't know. I remember taking him to the doctor and they did some tests to see if his growth plates were closed. And they were. And he was like as tall as he is now. So he hasn't grown an inch in like 5 years.
Yeah. But yeah, we should, kind of like on the debate where they made the podiums different. I seen that, like where Kamala's podium was a little different. So we should have made his podium like real small to make him look real big.
Yeah, next time I'll give him the. So I noticed. Well, I sat in my office chair, and when I sit in this chair, like I don't move, hardly at all.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that the whole time that I was just rocking back and forth, didn't even realize I was doing it for probably 3/4 of that podcast roll, and in my mind, I'm just like, I hate that the most.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure, man. Like when you watch and you look at the stuff, man, some things drive me nuts too, man. I'm like, what am I
worried
doing?
about stuff.
Yeah, I am too,
It's
man.
just like when I had Jace on, and my OCD sometimes is so weird. Like I sit in this chair. So then when I had him on, I made him sit there and like run that stuff, which it's no different than having you do it. You know what I mean? It really pretty simple. What are you
trying to say, man? My job isn't difficult, dude.
None of our jobs are. I mean, I should probably take more time and edit better.
I was going to say, hold on a second. If it's not that difficult, then how come? You know what I mean? How come I had to take this over? I mean, I've had to take some things over, Ryan. Here,
well,
from
you
job,
got to manage your own area there for sure,
yeah.
and this happens that your area has that. And I mean, I don't know. Eventually, when we get going a little different, then I don't know. I have no idea. But at the same time, I couldn't. I tried sitting over there, and I was like, I couldn't. It gave me anxiety. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's my OCD, which I'm okay with. I know my place. It's right here.
It's right here. It's right here, man.
I like to be here because I can make the quickest exit if need be.
Yeah, true. And I do like my spot. I have found, like, even at the back shack, I had the same spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To the right. I guess I'm on the right hand, man. You're on the left hand, dude.
That's whatever.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I suppose, when you're. Have you ever noticed, like, when people do selfies and their screen's facing them, everything's mirrored image, right?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, so, like, you'll see people, they'll be doing, like, a little one-off video in their car, and you realize they're in the driver's seat, but everything's mirrored image if their screen's facing them. So the seatbelt looks like it's going from right to left, and even though they're reaching with their right hand, because it's a mirrored image, you think it's the left. It's very interesting, I mean, some of that, and so ours isn't that way. So it's, I mean, as we would be sitting, so like as if someone was sitting across where the camera is.
It would see the same.
It would be the same, yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of wondered, like, if people, even would notice stuff like that. I notice weird stuff.
Yeah, I don't notice
like
stuff
when I see
that.
a picture, dude, like someone will say like, oh, look at that's such a pretty smile. And I'll be like, you see that dog pooping in the background? You know what I mean? And it's like, I look all around before the focal point on most any picture that I look at for the obscurity of it.
Good, man. That's nice, man. It's a good little skill set, really, man.
I'm just really looking for funny stuff.
Yeah. Looking at that background, man. That's usually when you come in to find a lot of funny stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just saying. I think it's I don't know. Gives me something to do, I suppose.
I like it, man. I like it.
How's your day been? Been a good day?
Dude, it's been wonderful. Every day I wake up, man, I'm truly blessed. You know what I mean? As we say, you know what I mean? Like if I, as long as we're breathing, man, we got a chance. We got opportunities, man. We got chances to get better, chances for improvement, chances for advancement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not just on your own accord, on the kingdom's accord, on all realms of things, man. And centrally located where we're just dropping those, man, and creating those ripples of just greatness of Christ-like, just things just coming from Center Mass from Hutchinson, Kansas. You know what I mean? Right smack dab in the middle of it all, man. And just coming through. So it's been great, man. I'm feeling better. I still wouldn't say I'm at 100%, but I'm dang close, man. And that's feeling good. So, I had my work day and moved through that. And then I stayed a little late today, not much, man, to get it going. And then, I've kind of backed off the weights because I haven't been feeling really good. So I've been trying to watch kind of my weights because I tend to think that breaks down my immunities. And so I back off those when I'm not feeling too good. So I hit the weights today, man. And then I was like, man, I'm going to go do 30 minutes of cardio, after this. So I hit the weights and I was like, man, I'm just going to hit that little bike, the little indoor bikes they got there at the YMCA.
Yeah.
And they got this room that's filled with bikes, right? And they have one bike that's on the stage, that the guy who,
when they're doing the deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had not sat in a class ever before. But if no one's in the room, man, I just get on the center stage one because then you can put your phone up there. He's the only one that's got a little cool little stand for his tablet and stuff,
Yeah.
So I put my phone there, put on some YouTube or something and then just start hitting the bike, And so I got there and kicked it on, man. And I was probably riding my bike like 5 minutes maybe. And this gentleman walks in the room, dude. And he's got his little backpack and stuff on and older guy, and he's probably, I don't know, I bet he had 10 years on me, man. And so he drops, maybe not 10, but he was close to it. Anyways, older gentleman drops his bag there and he's like, so you coming in for the class tonight? And I was like, well, no. I was like, getting ready to have a cycle class? And he was like, yes, I am, man. Starts at 5:30. And I was like, well, man, dude, I was just jumping on the bike for 30 minutes or so, man. You know what I mean? I can get up out of here. He's like, well, nah, man. He's like, why don't you just stay? He's like, the class is 45 minutes. And if you got to get out of here, I mean, just go ahead and get off the bike and get up out of here. He's like, stay for the class. I'm like, well, man. I was like, well, typically here lately, I've been using the bike for, heart rate training, you know what I mean? To stay around that 120, that zone 2. And, but I was like, you're going to call my car, man. I'm staying for the class, dog. I was like, I'm going to go ahead and stay. So, let him know. I was like, yeah, I'm in, man. Let's do it. 45 minutes, man. I'll make it work. I had to pick up KC, from football. And I had to pick him up at 6:30. So I was like, well, shoot, man, it's 5:30. We get done at 6:15.
Right.
And I'm going to bounce out of here and I'll get the kid. It's all going to be copacetic, man. And so I was like, I'm in. And, I don't know what to expect, man. But so I'm like, well, I'm just going to keep pedaling, dude. I got off his bike, of course. I'm like, well, okay. And he was like, well, no, you just keep that bike, man. I'll get on one of these. I'm like, dude, you're running the class. I'm not going to be that guy.
Right.
No, I'm not going to be that guy, man. And I was like, it's your show, man. I'm going to go ahead and pull one of these out. So I set that bike, got off that bike, set up another bike, like the way I liked it, you know what I mean? As far as where I like my settings. As far as, the seat, the handles, and all that good stuff.
Right.
And, man, jumped on it, and I started riding, and like I said, it was only like 5 minutes. But, and dude, nobody else came in. It was just me and him. No one else came for the bike class. I guess he said he just started the bike class for evening times, and if they can't get enough people, they look for about 5. They'll just stop doing it. So I was like, well, So no one showed up, and it's just me and him. So this dude gets on on the stage, right? And I've never done a bike class before. And man, hey, this old dude, I wouldn't call him, I mean, he's like I said, he's about maybe 8-10 years older than me, man. Dude, that dude, he was like, hey, man, look here. We're about to get on some sprints, some races. We're going to do some climbing. We're going to do, yeah, I mean, he just had this whole list, and he's just talking, and talking to me. And so I'm like, yeah, dude, man, I mean, it's your show, man. I'm ready, man. Let's get in. Let's do it, man. And so we start going. And, dude, man, I'm talking. Dude, I didn't even know you could stand up on one of those bikes. He was like, because there's this little lever where you can drop tension. He's like, hammer the tension. We're standing up. And this dude is yelling.
I bet.
Dude, yelling like he's got a class full of 50 people probably riding bikes, and it's just me. He's got music blaring. I mean, this dude is in his element and in his zone, and just grinding, man. Like if you're around and you want to get on a cycling class and you're at Hutchinson, Kansas, hit that YMCA up, man. I think he said Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, man. And that dude gets it. I mean, he put it on me, dude. I walked out of there sweating. Dude, in 45 minutes, I burned over 600 calories.
Oh, on the bikes?
On that bicycle, man. I mean, put it on me, man. Like, just sweating, dude. It was good. It was good, man. And I had a fun time, man, because, like I said, I didn't even know you could stand up on those things. So I'm jumping up and I'm standing up and I'm pushing out, man. Because you have to hit he calls out like these numbers you have to hit like on RPMs and like as far as how hard you're pushing and where your power levels are. I mean, he's letting you know where he wants you, man. And I mean, you're there. And he pushed me, man, 45 minutes, man. I didn't think it was going to be that serious, man. But that dude, he put it on me, man. I was like, dang. I mean, I could have kept going. I think at one time, too, he was hollering out something, and we were at the last, like, 30 seconds, and it was, dude, my thighs was burning, man. My hammies were on fire, man. And, he was like, all right, take a little break, and your break, you just kind of, trigger down the hammer. Right. So then you're just pedaling real easy but still going pretty good. And then you kind of chill for a moment. And I was like, too easy. I yelled that out. And it was funny, man. And then he kind of pushed a little harder, I think, after I yelled that at him, man. Kind of took that personal.
He might have.
But anyways, it was fun, man. That was my day, man. Then I went home, and then you hit me up asking what time I was coming over, and I was like, I'm grabbing KC, and then I'm hitting the shower because I look like I just took a shower in my clothes. Is what I look like.
I get it.
So and then here I am, man. Here I am. Here I am.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. So of course, I feel like we cannot not talk about politics once in a while.
Oh man, yeah, dude, yeah, Big Mama Kamala and Big Daddy Trump.
I guess that's how you want to refer
Big
to
Daddy
him.
Trump and Big Mama Kamala in the house last night.
I don't know what debate you watched. It's funny because I've watched like the immediate commentary after, and so then spent most of the today like going through fact checker stuff and different things. But for just watching it, I my idea of debate is something that you grow in knowledge of. We already knew they didn't like each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like when I watched, like visually watched the first half of it, but after the first break, I rolled over on the couch, wasn't even facing the TV. I was just listening to kind of try to get like a different perspective because I couldn't get past the faces that Kamala Harris was making.
Oh, dude!
It shows the split screen.
Oh yeah,
and they're just annoying. It reminded me of my my adopted mom that raised me, and just
real spiteful.
Well, she's definitely has an expressive face, and she has to though. But she was a prosecutor, all these different things. So if someone would have asked me directly after, who do I think won? I'd have said fail on both ends.
Yeah, dude. I don't think anyone won that one last night. My thought was too. And I didn't really listen to much commentary or whatever.
Well, the way they score debates, Kamala would have won it just based on debate, whatever etiquettes and different things. But the idea of debate should be one that they should be healthy, right? Like we should gain knowledge to make an informed decision.
Yeah. All
it did is make me hate politics more.
And and there was no cross-referencing. Like there was no cross. Like they couldn't talk like into me.
I think
cross-examination.
Well,
there was no cross-examination, and in a debate there would be some cross-examination.
So
I would
have
think.
to say, on the part of both Trump and Harris, is all they wanted to do is like. So Trump would be like, they'd ask a question, and Trump would be like, "Oh yeah, we have plans. We have plans.
Big plans, the best.
We have big plans, the best plans ever. I built the biggest.
No one's ever seen a plan like this before."
Then they say, "Vice President elect, would you like to respond?" He's lying.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, so what do you have?
I
And then
have
it
the
goes
best
to
plan.
Trump, and it's just like they destroyed our country. My plan is better, but I'm not going to tell you what my plan is right now. And so, I mean, but it was the same old
man.
It was the same old pony show that's been going on since Trump first came on the.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
it started in 2016.
Like, I don't even think, technically, dude, I don't even think you have to have really debates. And I think the debates anymore now have gotten so out of hand where it's just more like entertainment for us, man.
Well,
and
the
that's why they
debate
do
isn't
it, man.
for people that have already made up. Very few people are going to watch a presidential debate this late in the presidential run and say, nope, I'm not going with Harris, I'm going with Trump. What it's for is like the independents that would have voted for RFK, who's no longer on the ticket in a lot of states, to say, all right, I'm leaning this way or I'm leaning that way.
Yeah, and you think you
and
would
they gained 0 ground from that.
Yeah, and you think, for real, though, and I think I've said this before, and I don't know if I've said it on the show or just to you, in conversation.
Yeah.
But, I would think when they come up on those stages, and you have the whole, dude, you don't even have America. You have the whole world dialed into us, man, at this time. So it's like you think you would come, and like you say, at such preparedness and readiness, and not to annihilate your partner by no means, but to be ready to show what you're going to do for the country, man. Yeah. What you have ready, what you're going to implement, what you're going to do, what you have plans. You know what I mean? Like, what is your plan of engagement for advancement, to take things away, to move things? And you know what I mean? Her mic was shut off, and his mic was shut off. Like, the two of them should, like you said, should have a plan, man. And it doesn't seem like they do. And my only thought there, because I had that thought last night, my only thought there was like, dude, they just rely on other people, for those plans. And then they pick the best option at that time at those plans given. And which I understand.
I mean, in the sense.
So it's like that. And Trump even said that at one point because he's like, well, I'm not president yet. And and that kind of makes sense to me because, you would have a team of all these people and they're like, well, like that Simpsons episode, dude, where he's like, I have 6 options. Here they all are. And he lays them on the desk. And I think that's more for the destruction of something. But that's what it'd be like. Here's your pamphlets. Here's your plans. Which one are we moving forward with?
Well, yeah, pick one.
Yeah, you know what I mean. That's what it seemed like to me. And that Simpsons show that I watched years back when I was a kid came to light when I was watching that, and I was like, "Holy crap!" I started laughing, man.
I mean, it's eerie how accurate some of the Simpsons prophetic things are. I don't know if you call it that, but
but that's what I thought in my head last night. It had me rolling, dude.
So like I said, I mean, when you think of a debate, like it's something that you're going to debate. Factual things, not just made up BS. And even on the other side, like they for ABC, the moderators did a terrible job. I don't give a crap which side you're on. And if you say they did a great job, then you're just an idiot. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
They did do a terrible job of. They're supposed to be. First off, journalism should be impartial and fair. Reporting facts and things, but many times, especially in defense of Kamala, they would fact check Trump in real time with their opinion, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. How are they feeling?
So what had nothing to do with numbers or anything. So then, as you go through and you look at the fact checking, not from the moderators. Of course, there's some political bias that plays in an opinion, but at the same time, it's like. Still, I mean, if you want to say that Harris goaded Trump and got him to react, so point for her. And if you say, well, she stayed on topic better, another point, great. Then that's awesome if you wanted to score the debate like that. but neither one of them had anything substantial to say other than the Republican Party's BS. And nobody likes, you know what I mean? And then vice versa.
I did like when Trump started talking about the Roe versus Wade or whatever, as far as on the abortions, because he did, and they kept trying to trigger him on it. Well, and I did like how he said, like, it doesn't matter what I think. I took it out of the federal government's hands,
right,
and gave it back to the states.
Yeah,
and that's, you know what I mean? He's like relinquishing power. Like, and I like that, because if you're taking power away from the federal government,
I think it's a good thing.
I think that's a great thing.
Yeah,
man.
if you don't like the way your state's legislation and Senate and the rules that are there, then go find a more liberal state. And if you're, I mean, tons of people have migrated from California to Texas, from New York to Florida.
Bounce around, man. That's kind of how the United States
around. It's about them leaving. They left what they knew for their entire life because of a political disagreement. They didn't like the way that things were going politically. And their voice was gone.
Yeah, and so they vacated and went to another place.
And went to where. Yeah. So it's like Texas is little California and Florida's little New York now. I mean, that's really. I mean.
And then I was kind of wondering, do you think they take their ideologies? Well, I guess they would to a point, but then I would think.
But keep in mind, they're leaving with a conservative ideology if they're leaving.
Point.
Well, to a point. I mean,
because I would say this, Ryan. Sorry to interrupt, man, but I would say this: like the Republican, the conservative side that I used to know, that I grew up with, is not so much conservative anymore. I think anymore now, like if you don't follow that extremeness, almost that left side, that they almost call you a conservative and right side, or Republican. Right, and it's like, well, dude, not really. Like, look at like Joe Rogan be a perfect example. I think Tim Pool would be another example. Like they're not conservative, man. I would not consider those guys conservative.
I would say that they're moderates at best, but
I don't know if I would consider them. I would call them more independents, maybe, or more. They'd lean more liberal. Garrett, they sure lean more liberal than right. And but yet they're considered right wingers.
Depends on where you're at, so that's what
I mean. But over time, that's how it's came.
I would still lob them into a moderate. You know what I mean? Because they are liberal. So whether they lean Republican or Democrat at any given time, they're still just moderate. They're low leaning left and low leaning right at any given moment. Which basically they kind of create their own political, whatever you want to call it, doctrine or what, that their idea, which makes them independent because they get to independently pick and choose what they like. I think neither one of them is. I think they're grounded in what they believe. I don't think any one of them has changed a lot over time. How they felt. Like Joe Rogan's felt like this. I would say maybe he, in some aspects, you would think he's a little more conservative, but really the conservatism that he has is that he's doing the research and he's educating himself and he's making good educated decisions. Whereas before, I mean, he was kind of lived a wild and crazy lifestyle.
Right. But even then though, even that though, as time has gone on, that's what I'm saying. You're saying moderate. Well, I would say most people don't view him as moderate anymore. Most people would put him more to the right than to the left.
Right.
So that middle moderate, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm talking about.
Has moved.
I would say that they lean in the moderate zone. They lean more into conservatism than either one want. But
I would say they are remaining where they've always been, like you just said at the very beginning. Like they haven't changed much. What has changed is that idea of what moderate is.
Ideology's changed. So you have all these far left extremists and far right extremists, and then you have neocons, and then you have like old school Republicans, old school Democrats, and the old school ones are having to pick between these two. So they're either going to be pro-Trump, which the far right extremists love, the neocons, which neocons to me is like Daily Wire, those guys, the new conservative movement, Matt Walsh, as far as like I don't even know if he's senator or congressman, but Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're part of this new conservative movement, and they've taken control of things. Like they ousted McCarthy, who needed to be ousted, by 4 Republicans voting with all the rest of the Democrats, and the Democrats didn't give a rip all they wanted to do is upset the Republican Party. So you have this small group of, I can't even remember what they call themselves now at this point, but they're with a party within a party, and they took control to get McCarthy out by a vote by joining up with the Democrats who really didn't care.
Yeah.
Which I think is, I mean, that I was so frustrated with that. And not that I like Kevin McCarthy. I think that the new guys they're all bad. I mean, you've heard what I have to feel about how I feel about politics and those things.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
it makes me think, you see the memes on Facebook all the time. It's like, it'll be a donkey, an elephant, and then in the middle is the lamb.
Yeah, I go with the lamb, dog.
Well, yeah, but in the same sense, it's like, I don't know. At a point in time, I was a nationalist, and it was Christian nationalism is a huge movement in America that really is bad. And I mean, when you look in hindsight, like I love the land I live in. Don't get me wrong. And there's certain things about it that I would absolutely defend, but there's a lot of it that is trash, And so moving out of nationalism to some of my friends that still are, I mean, they would automatically lock me into the lefty side now.
See, that's what I mean, man. It's getting weird out there.
And you're forced to pick. I think it's interesting. I loved getting on Facebook over the last couple of days and seeing all the memes and just cracking myself up at. I mean, I have a small amount of time invested. I watched the debate. I watched some commentary. I got online and read some stuff. And I don't even vote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't vote either, man.
and a lot of people would be like,
so much entertainment in it, though.
How dare you even offer an opinion?
I go with God, man. Well, shoot, I can have an opinion, man. Everybody can have an opinion, man.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you're going to,
I don't like how they just outsize people. Like Trump, they just attack him like no other, man. I'm like, dude, what? Like, why do you guys can't
That's
stand
on
that
both
guy
sides
so much?
if you're paying attention.
Oh, yeah, true. Kamala gets toasted quite a bit, man.
Constantly. Is that Amber Alert?
It is, too, man.
I wonder if my phone's going off. I have it on.
5-year-old kid, man.
Trish.
Last seen wearing a white T-shirt, black shorts, and black shoes. Man, see, that's crazy. I think it's crazy that we get those alerts on our phone. Oh, yeah, Ryan. Now we're good.
I don't know.
Man, normally I'm the one that's like, hey, check the phone, and you don't ever check it.
Well, so I have it on Do Not Disturb, so if someone like texted or called,
I see.
but I don't know what an Amber Alert.
Yeah,
I don't know what an Amber Alert
throw
will
it
do.
through a loop, dude.
Yeah.
I don't even know what we're talking about, but yeah, man. And I choose.
Amber Alerts.
Yeah, and I choose not to vote just based on the fact that you know what I mean. Like I've said before, man. I think that I believe that we are providing exactly what we are needed, and if this is what we're needing, that's what we get, man. And then I don't rely so much on anybody, man. Really, I rely on God fully, completely, man. I rely on on what I can do and what I can handle, and I plan accordingly and move accordingly, man.
Yeah.
And my little vote, man, I assure you, isn't going to count for much, man.
Not in the. I mean, I don't know.
Especially in Kansas, dude. It ain't going to change nothing, man.
Well, we live in a fairly conservative.
I've yet to see. Well, I don't know. Our governor tends to get elected blue quite often.
I'm not disputing that, but like even occasionally, my dad, who's probably fairly hardcore conservative, votes accordingly, but he does the research and looks at policy and stuff.
Yeah, and and if I'm sitting here thinking, like, I'm looking back, like at times, like there's times where I would have voted the other way too, like blue, red, just whoever that better person is. And I think what like you're talking about too, I think is what's happened is so many people have gotten so far left, so far right, they've just got blinded and they just follow the party just blindly, man.
I mean, there's the traditionalists and loyalists, and I mean, I get that. I don't know. It is interesting. I mean, Sam Brownback was Republican governor. He was a terrible governor. Yeah, and so then
I didn't care for that guy much either.
People in the end of it are like, we got to get him out. So even some Republicans are going to vote for the lesser of two evils, and that's what we're up against. I mean, so for small town elections, I think it's important to vote. A couple of votes can sway an election. Yeah. I was looking at some of the city stuff. To
like your community, like your low time community, those votes.
Well, matter. But the difference.
I'm talking like big time.
The difference of a small town mayor might be 5 votes.
Yep.
And that could be huge. On what? I mean, just council could be 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I've seen some of these like little incorporated towns where literally they only had 50 votes total. And 500 people live there, but only like 50 people showed up to vote, and so.
I don't think it's gonna. And it's probably not gonna affect the pace of their life, man.
I mean, some of it does. You look at the city of Haven for the longest time. The older generation was mayor, council, and as the newer generation came in, then they started making improvements. You know what I'm saying? And they were needed improvements. It's like they needed a new pool or to get rid of the pool altogether.
Yeah, but much needed improvements. I mean, and that would depend on who you're speaking with, I guess, too. I imagine the people that
you got to have things that are going to draw people to your town.
Not if they're not voting, they probably just find where they're at, man. Moving along accordingly.
Yes, they should probably. I mean that's so besides the point. I mean, you see the same thing play out in federal politics, just like I said. So we have this younger generation of neocons that are coming up that are relatively close to our age, and they're making the old school Republicans jump on board because they've kind of seized control. And Trump was a Democrat for most of his life until then he became an independent and then became a Republican. And all the time, I mean, he's not a very conservative guy.
No, he's not. But he's hard right. If you ask anybody right now, and that's why I'm saying that moderate. That we're just going right back, just proving what I was saying there earlier. That moderate, what you call moderate, is no longer moderate. If you look at the political parties, like you said, like Trump used to be Democrat, and he slowly changed. RFK. Like
he went to independent.
Well, I bet they're probably like, we're here pretty soon. Hard right, like I'm saying, it's so slowly.
He'll never be hard right.
But it's they may call him that. You never know, man. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, but
you're just
it's no different.
You're not getting what I'm saying because you're saying that. Well, he'll never be hard right. Well, you would have said probably like a Tim Pool would never be a hard right, and he's considered hard right now by some, and I would not consider him hard right.
That's not a factual case to say they're hard right. It's somebody that's accusing them of something that's not factually true.
But you would have never heard that before. Like 10 years ago, no one would have ever said that about that guy.
About who?
Tim Pool, Joe Rogan, all these guys. Anybody I've said, you know what I mean? Trump, for example, like nobody would have considered those guys hard right.
I would
10
say
years ago, 15 years ago, no way, dude. 20 years ago,
20 years ago, they didn't even have what they have. So
yeah,
I mean,
they had a Republican and Democrat then.
No, I'm saying those individual guys, they weren't front and center on huge podcasts with millions of people following and 200,000 views a day.
I bet
where they're getting scrutinized constantly.
Hell no, man.
If their moral compass changed, I would say over time it only got better. Right. So if you think of Tim Pool, what he was up to, he was a skateboarder. He was probably up to some felonious stuff. If you look at some of his old friends, they weren't the greatest of people. Joe Rogan, same thing. As they've grown and matured and done these things, this natural moral compass comes to this middle area, and that's where you stay. And then you bounce. I think that's why a lot of people would.
So you're saying that moderate has not changed.
No,
it's always been the same.
I say it has.
And they're just moving this way and that way.
Back and forth. It's not a constant thing.
There's no way, man. I say that moderate ground is no longer moderate. Like that moderate has went further to the left.
You're playing into the propaganda then by saying you have to choose.
I'm not saying you have to choose. I'm saying
it's no different than the people saying.
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
I am, man. Though. I am understanding.
Not really. If you're saying that, if your understanding is that I'm saying that you have to choose,
I don't agree with.
That's not what I'm saying here at all.
On what you think moderate is really what it amounts to.
No, I'm saying the moderate line has changed.
I don't think it has.
Well, we're at a disagreement.
I think that a lot of that plays into your moral compass and different things like that. Just the same difference of people's moral compass for pro-life versus whatever the other is. You know what I mean? I'm a pro-life guy because of my moral compass. Really, my politics don't play into that. So do I favor Republicans now all of a sudden because I'm a pro-life? If I say I'm pro-life, oh, you're an extremist. You know what I mean? So Tim Pool, who's had the same moral compass, probably never did agree with abortion. I couldn't speak on that. I don't know, like his full history.
I think he does agree he does agree on abortion.
He doesn't, though.
No, I think he does.
I'm not saying that he takes this like far right stance on it.
I think he just says it's up to the choice.
When it comes down to the federal government, yeah, he absolutely does agree that Roe v. Wade should have been gone. It should be up to the individual states. It should maybe even be more localized than that. absolutely. But his take on it isn't.
That's not moderate anymore. That would be a hard right. It used to be that would be moderate. Anymore now, that's not moderate, dude. That'd be right.
So yeah, I would still disagree.
And I would say that moderate line has changed.
Based on extremism, sure.
Yeah.
Some extreme left guy's going to say, like I said, they're going to say, look at this guy. He's an extreme right now. He used to be cool, now he's not because of his one belief.
And the exact opposite, the hard right, like you just said, they would consider you to be more far left.
For what?
I don't know. That's what you just said about your buddies. You know, they would consider you to be more on the liberalism side.
Oh, they think I'm a socialist.
But I wouldn't see that. I would see you as moderate, dude, if you ask me.
I'm not an uber conservative, though.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I would, if I really want to irritate him, I tell him I'm a socialist. I had an old guy. Listen, I had an old guy on Harvest. He was trying to give me the what for about some of my political views. And I just looked him dead in the eye. I said, it don't matter. I'm a socialist. And he wouldn't speak to me for 4 days, dude.
Yes.
He wouldn't even hardly look at me. And all he did is, and he was old. He was like 75. And the guy that owned the company was in his late 60s. And all they would do is eat ice cream and talk crap on me for being a socialist. Yeah, I wasn't socialist. But there's certain things that I just totally, I don't know. You know what I mean? I just totally find funny. And it's like I purposely poked on him. And here this guy was super cool to me because I was raised around the farm and he thinks I have all these same values as him, and he's telling me all these old stories, and it was coming up on election time. It was Obama was getting ready to be elected, and I tell them all, I was like, y'all are just racist, you know. And I mean, I don't know, I understand racism. I was Aryan Nation for years, and so I was a terrible racist person, and to hear them talk, I mean, I almost chuckled on myself because I was like, this is almost worse because they're like covert racist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Literally, we had a work truck named Obama. It was half black and half white. That's why we named it that. See what I'm saying? And they're like on this high horse, and I'm like, I like a lot of Obama's policies. You know what I mean? I think that healthcare needs to be revamped. You know, I'm not a big fan of Social Security. I pay into something that I don't think I'll ever get. Yeah. You know, my dad. You know,
I liked Obama his first term, man. You know, thinking back, dude. Yeah.
I had no issues with him. Yeah. I think that Obama though did spark a fire of extremism.
Oh yeah, I think that was towards his second term. I think.
Well, yeah, you can look at the 4-year term presidents. Yeah. They don't get a lot accomplished their first term.
Yeah, it's that second term where you really get to see what they're about, man. Yeah. And I, you know, and then thinking back, like I didn't like, you know, but Obama, his first term, I was like, yeah, you know, I did like him. He was a cool dude, really. Yeah. You know, really good, man. And that second term came about, you know, towards the end of that his first term. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I really like this guy anymore. You know what I mean? We need somebody different. Oh, and then he got voted again, and then man, it really got a little worse, man. Like I said, it got a little worse, man. The extremists. Well, the boiling water got a little hotter.
So, and I think that money plays into politics often. So you look at these guys, like even Bernie Sanders, who was legitimately the poorest senator on record ever for like his entire term as senator until like, I don't know, 3 years ago, and now he's a 10 millionaire.
Yeah, he's a high roller.
So
man.
Instead of him talking crap on millionaires because he is one now, he talks crap on billionaires, you know? And so it's just interesting. It's like, so you now that you are one, he's like not changed a lot of his rhetoric or anything except for instead of talking crap on, and then all of his party people, I mean, Obamas weren't independently wealthy until they got into office. Yeah. You know, a lot of these people weren't, and it's such a crooked, it's a crooked mess, and there's no fixing it. I mean, we're in too far, so now we're just along for the ride. Whether you vote or not, you're along for the ride.
I think there's ways to fix it. It's just a matter of if they will fix it. And it would come down to the people that choose to fix it.
So yeah, I mean, and at some point it will happen that way.
That'd be the only way it gets fixed, man. As it got fixed, you know, as it gets fixed.
The vote doesn't fix it.
No, not at all.
All it does is influence more. Well, I mean, they could cheat that.
More corruption, man.
But it's fueled by. You look at Trump's a nationalist. Yeah. Harris is a globalist. Okay, I don't think being a nationalist in the terms of politics is a terrible thing because you're about protecting. Yeah. Your assets, your things, you know, whether you do business outside of the country, but it's like these globalists want like this uniform way for multiple continents and countries. And I mean, it's just like the rabbit hole is endlessly deep once you start diving in. I mean, you there's no way to even cover it. And really, like, the whole point is the debate sucked and nothing came of it other than the same BS that they've been talking about on the news for weeks now. Anyways,
real, like everything they talked about, dude, I didn't hear anything that I have not heard.
Right. And so we just had a healthy debate on our opinion on what we think moderate is and if it's moved or not. And just because at the end of the day is like, I don't have to agree with everything that I mean, me and Trisha disagree on quite a bit of things for a husband and wife. And people are like, wow, you guys are kind of night and day on how you, well, there's lots of factors. There's pink goggles and blue goggles and, how she was raised versus how I was raised. Well, women think differently and men by right, they should. Yeah. And to allow them the freedom to think like women is how we should encourage. But instead, what they want is everybody to think alike.
Yeah, which is retarded.
They don't want people to think independently. They want you to buy into the BS propaganda, whether you identify as whatever it is. I don't even know. The list goes on and on and on. And those are the things that the far extremism tries to force. But there has to be an opposite to everything. So if there's a far left, then there has to be a far right. You know what I'm saying?
One coin. Two different sides, man.
I mean, in a way, it
almost
is
to a point.
In a way, it is two sides of the same coin. And like I said, so then me from my seat as a believer, I have to weigh in on what I believe to be true through the Word of Scripture and through the church, and that's that's what should influence how I act and what I do and all those things. And I don't know. I'm really kind of about keeping politics and religion separate. Jason and I were just talking about this, like the longest. We were talking about like the Roman Empire, Persian Empire, and how long empires generally last, and it's around 300 years, right? And he said, but you have this Britain that's been around, and I said, oh, hold on a minute, it's been called the same thing forever, but they went from a total monarchy to a constitutional monarchy. They were everything was church and state first. Everything went through the church, like. The king needed guidance. He went to the it's Anglican, and I can't think what they call the guy, but it's going to drive me insane now. They have a name for it. So basically, they're pope, but it's not. They don't call him a pope for guidance, and I mean so.
But how would you? I don't know, man. Like, I don't think you should have that much separation, man. I mean. Like, I don't know, man. I would think you would want, I don't know if you want like religion, but I think you would want God and Christ involved in your people.
Want. But
that's religion to me, man. Right. If you say religion to me, that's Christ.
I'm not disputing that.
Yeah, but that's taking care of people.
I understand that, and my preference would be that Christ rules people's households, which influences who we elect, and that's not how it's played out over time.
Well, that's because Christ isn't in the households very much anymore, man.
There's no disputing that. Absolutely.
Exactly. And that's probably why we're headed the way we are in the voting process.
100% it is. And the corruptness it starts at the top and it works its way up from the bottom, obviously.
Yeah.
So to be truly American, to stand on the American values that we're presented with, which allows for religious freedom, then simply it cannot exist. That, you know what I mean? Otherwise, then it's now we're really under a religious whatever. Yeah. So then
keep worldly religion out of it. That's how I would look at that. Maybe.
Well, I mean, I think
like all these views. Well, they were going to get in that religion topic. I see what you're saying, Ryan. I'm sorry, I don't want to debate this. I understand what you're saying. Like, I would keep that out of politics.
Yeah. So either we have to go back and change the Constitution.
Yeah, I agree with you, man.
Which uses the word God a lot.
That understanding of religion, I agree with you, man. Because people are going to run with it, and they have such a hard time understanding what true religion is.
Right.
And then we're going to get down that field. I would say yes. Keep that separate, man.
So
because people can't handle it. Then they're going to be like, you don't believe in my God? Off with your head.
Well, that's what it ends up being, and that's where religious persecution
and then you have wars over all this crap, and then people start dying, and then we're going totally the opposite direction.
America was founded on freedom of religion as a Christian nation. Not going to dispute that. But at the same time, other people latched on to say, oh, there's no religious persecution, so we're going to go too, but we're going to bring our religion with us. And it's no different. That's why the mission field starts right at home on your block. You don't have to go to China to be a missionary because... I don't know, probably around here somewhere, there's probably a Oriental couple that's never heard about God that's lived in America for 30 years. You know what I'm saying?
True story.
I'm just, it's very interesting how that can play out. But, yeah, our hope. So let's talk about this for a minute. In Scripture, and I could look it up, and my brain's going so fast right now. I don't even know if I could type it.
You're like kind of shaking over there, Ryan. Your legs going, boy. You feeling it tonight,
well,
man.
I'm overstimulated.
Yeah,
I drink a ton of coffee.
No, you're good, man.
I met a guy today that he was here to install my cable, and right out the gate, he asked if I believed in God. And when I said yes, he unloaded his recent testimony, which was amazing. Yeah. I mean, I told him like I subscribe to his YouTube channel. He's got one video on there, and it's basically just him reading the Sermon on the Mount. Weirdly enough, and he's like,
"Holy crap!"
He said something. I was like, "Dude,
go to baby."
My favorite scripture that I've studied the most is the Sermon on the Mount." And he was like, "Huh?" He's like, there's a lot of install. He came all the way from Wichita over to Hutch to do my install, and there's installers in Hutch already. So it was a God thing, you know what I mean? Yeah. I gave him my number. He's like, I said, I don't give a crap. I'm gonna send you a message, dude. Be comfortable with it. Like, let the weirdness go. He's all goosebumped up.
Should invite him to men's encounter, man.
Well, I mean, yeah. I'm just saying. I wouldn't dispute, like I said, I got his number on the spot. Like, I didn't even have hardly time to get a word in. Like, this dude unloaded and probably made him feel a lot better.
Sounds like he needs a men's encounter, Ryan.
I'm not disputing that.
Same.
Dude, I mean, I totally get it, and don't think it's not in the works. I let God lead, you know what I mean, and those things. Yeah. And every time I started to bring it up, it was like, put on the brakes, dude. Put on the brakes. Put on the brakes.
I understand that.
And
don't listen to me, man.
So yeah, horribly overstimulated. But in the book, it talks about that God is responsible for who our nation's leaders are. That we should give to Caesar what Caesar 100%. Requires. All these things. Now, when you look in the Old Testament, God designated leaders based on people's, I don't know what the word would be, like their closeness with them. So
moral compasses, dude.
God basically gave them what they wanted. So it's just like the children of Israel wanted this, and so they got it. And they wanted this, they got it. We need kings, and we need this. Yep. And so they get it. So now here we are.
Doesn't matter what you have, you're going to get what God gives you, man.
Based on
collective.
Well,
yeah, collective whole, man. It ain't necessarily what I'm gonna get what I need, but as a collective, we're also gonna get what I need, and that's why I'm saying that's really why I don't vote. Well, because it doesn't matter. I'll have a king, a queen, a group of senates, whatever you want to look at.
Right.
We're gonna get what we deserve. And what we need,
no matter,
not necessarily what we want, but we're gonna get what we need. And if that struggle and hardship and pain and hurt to get us to draw near, then that's what we're gonna get.
That's exactly how it works.
And if we're all drawing near, we're doing good. We're gonna be. It's gonna be good. Probably even better than It's gonna get better.
Perspective.
I don't know. Yeah,
the way you view things does play into it. So like, I don't know. I've talked about this before. Like at a point in time, I don't know what you're trying to do.
Yeah. Well, this thing just keeps.
Well, that's because instead it's loose on the. Let me show you how to fix it. Swing that baby over here. So you gotta stretch very far.
I was trying to do.
So when you move your mic.
Dang! There it is, Brian.
Yeah,
dude, that has been driving me nuts for like weeks and weeks, man.
Yeah. So
ever since I took it over.
Well, it didn't help the other day when Jason sat there. He screwed with it a bunch. And I told him not to.
I thought I had it right, but yeah, dude.
And then it was a lot different when we had to squeeze you in with Jeffrey.
Yeah, no, that's good.
It's funny because the post right here blocks my face like the whole time.
Yeah, this is amazing right here. Thanks, Ryan. I feel so much better now.
Well, one of these days I'm gonna bring my pliers down here and tighten that the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Used to have a set.
It's perfect right now. You don't need to do nothing with it. This is it right here.
Yeah, but you move your mic a lot.
I do too. I like to come in and out, man.
It's constant. I try not to, but
I do, man.
Can't help it.
Anyways, where were we? Sorry, man. This thing was
talking
driving
about
me
a
nuts.
little bit of everything.
We were too.
At the end of the day, for
collective and how we vote, and what's given to us.
Well, you're gonna fall. You're gonna come up as a nation, fall as a nation.
Yeah, indeed, we are.
Very, very few times does the good make it good for everybody. To be honest, usually 100%. It's the bad that screws it up for everyone.
And is there anybody that's good on this world, really, man? If we want to really get down to brass tactics, man.
Some are better than others.
I won't say that's not true.
I mean, there's people that live mostly blameless lives. I wish they were the ones in charge of our country. Unfortunately, they're not.
That's another thing. Since we're on this big Mala Kamala,
they would never.
Trump.
They would never get along. Look at the Protestant religion. You would never get through a congressional debate if say all the Democrats were all Catholic and all the Republicans were all Protestant. Can you imagine that debate? You know what I mean? Because the
really might even get worse.
It would. I mean, in certain. I'm sorry.
We would go to war. We might actually go to war over that.
I see the red light keep going over there. Oh no, on the deal.
Oh,
this means I'm maxing out. Like,
oh yeah,
when I get real excited.
Yeah, I'm saying we'd probably go to war even faster if it was like that. Yeah, if you started, like you said, I would say that because I was saying, like on the religion topic, we'll go back to that. Like if we started implementing religion in the political aspects of things, dude, we would go to war.
Not everybody
we would go to war faster.
Probably so.
We would probably have destroyed ourselves by now. I'm just
saying, we can't even come to agreement in the church. So why let the church dictate our government?
We're all gonna die.
Well,
real quick. I mean, we're all dying anyways. We're gonna die a lot faster, man. And there ain't gonna be no more of us coming up.
I mean, I think. Well, I mean, that is yeah.
You know what I mean?
When you look to prophecy for
my gosh.
Prophecy. So I mean, I don't think America plays into scriptural prophecy individually. I mean, people want to look at different things. I think that there are geographical things that are prophesied in the scripture, but to all of a sudden latch America into that, it's more about ideologies and things like that, I think. So, there's a lot of ideology in America that is communist, and there's a lot that's Marxist, and there's a lot that's fascist, and there's all these things. So we have this thing that happens, and I mean, it plays into obviously politics because you're going to get labeled as one or the other, even if you're not.
Yeah.
And most people, I don't even honestly, off the top of my head, know what those terms mean. I've looked them up before, and it's this like Dunning-Kruger effect of where you think that you know something, but you really don't, but you talk about it like you do, and you're absolutely just wrong because you studied it for 38 seconds. So now like you're politics, the end-all, be-all.
That sounds like the debate show I watched last night, except they didn't even study for 30 seconds.
Oh my God. It was definitely, it was uninformative, and it reminded me of a comedy TV show. I think ABC should be ashamed of themselves. That's just my take. I think the moderators should not. They're not true journalists. I think you can have an opinion, but to announce your opinion in the middle of a debate to say somebody's right or wrong,
dude, you can't do that. Up. Oh, you can't do that. And I know. I seen that too. I was like, wow. So I thought they were on the commentators at first, dude. I thought they were doing all right. Like they were keeping it pretty, you could obviously tell, you know where they're at, but it's like they were asking, hard questions on both sides. But then it was like about I don't know, 20 minutes in, I'm just throwing a number out there. It was like they started getting real emotional, man. And you could see it in their faces. And then they started, like you said, they started adding their own little commentary at the end of those conversations.
I think it was planned.
And I'm all like, dude, what are you guys doing, man? You can't do that in a debate like you're saying. You just can't do that. But, I will say that was one of the, that's how bad the commentators are in these things. Right. That was probably one of the better commentators debates I've seen over the years. And I've seen, because normally they're terrible, dude. They're even worse.
A lot of them. I guess.
I mean, they're typically worse than what they were tonight, man, or last night. Typically, they are a little worse, man. Maybe I've seen some better ones here and there, but not too many. Like
I don't know.
They ought to do like you would do like athletics. Let's just put athletics in here, like a football team. You have home games, you have away games.
Right.
They should just treat politics like athletics.
Well, keep in mind,
you should have like a home game. You should have a home game and then a away game. Do ABC and then do Fox.
ABC obviously leans left, and I haven't fact checked this. I mean, I've read different. It was across on different news sources, but so the president or head of ABC actually introduced Kamala Harris to her husband. Okay, now keep in mind.
No way, I didn't know that.
This debate was scheduled with Joe Biden.
Yeah, I do that. Yeah,
now, ABC does lean left. I'm not disputing that, and they would probably favor the Democratic Party over Republican Party just based on their commentary from the RNC and things that Trump has said. And the way that they fact check things, because they push propaganda that's factually untrue and been proven untrue over and over again, but they just keep saying the same thing, hoping that it sticks and that someone's going to believe it. Republican Party does the same crap. Don't get me wrong, But I'm saying on this end, from ABC specifically, even Kamala wanted to change the agreement, and I will say ABC said, nope, this was the agreement. We're going to stick to it. Trump already signed it. We're not going back to the negotiation table. Yes or no, are you in? And so, yeah, so the way it played out was based on, one, that was supposed to be Joe Biden, and whether they favor a particular individual or not, I would think that they favor Kamala even more because of the fact of this high-up executive literally introduced Imhoff to her.
Yeah, and then,
you know what I'm saying?
And on that note,
Trump could have said no.
Yeah, I thought about this too. Like, I was surprised Trump didn't hammer a little bit more on the fact that Big Mama Kamala technically wasn't even really voted in by her party. She just got kind of like.
But see, there
like,
again,
here you go. Like she's it. Like you should have like. And they're so big on that electoral process and that democracy.
So why do you want to get up there and talk about something that's already in the news constantly?
Well, yeah, true. I guess so.
The
Yeah,
debate's supposed to,
everybody already knows this.
You're supposed to go to the debate and dispute your policy. So they say,
I agree.
They say, okay, Trump, you say that the borders are open and this many people have come in. What are you going to do to stop it? Day one in office, we have a plan.
Yeah,
we have a plan. Kamala, what's your response? He's full of crap. He doesn't know what he's talking about, and we have had the best luck with the border, bar none. He left us with a disaster and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so neither one of them said, okay. The moderator just said, all right, hold right there. Let's okay, we're going to go back to the original question.
Yeah, that would be the
original question.
Yeah, that would be the moderator's
What are
job.
you going to do that's different? And then so they go to the next. So Trump, you say that you're going to activate the National Guard and local law enforcement to do the biggest deportation in American history. How are you going to accomplish that? We have a plan.
I'm not
Day
president.
one.
He's like, well, I'm not president yet.
Yeah, and then later he says,
but see, they asked Kamala this. Sorry, go ahead.
No, they did, but in the end, this is where he like eats his own shit on this deal, is because he said the House and the Senate is so divided that she'll never get it across.
Yeah.
Then what? How are you going to get yours across?
Yeah, for real, because it's the same thing. True
And
story.
I will say that there is some presidential power that they could take and enact some things.
Yeah, they can do some executive orders.
But then there's still a process. It goes.
Yeah.
It has to become law. And so just like Biden with his college payback deal.
Yeah.
He promised that and promised it for years. And I think some people probably got some damn money. I don't know. But the Supreme Court says, no, you don't get to make that ruling. You can't just write a new law and sign it without congressional and the Senate, at least weighing it. And then it was always dead in the House and in the Senate because it's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's really what it amounts to.
Yeah, but then and on the same side too. And yeah, like we already talked about, like you could go, like they would ask Kamala something, and then she wouldn't even answer the question. She would just, like you said, well, you're bad. You're a bad man. You're the worst there ever was, ever will be. You destroy us.
In the points game, she won because she used that to go Trump, and it's like she was hitting him with a cattle prod or a shot collar.
I don't know if I'd say Kamala won that one, dude.
In debate points, she did. In this political scheme of things, it was fail on both.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, she maintained more composure. I mean, take away from the split screen with her facial expressions.
You say she gained more composure because she was interrupting quite a bit.
In her verbal, in certain aspects, yeah. I will say that Trump on that end won that small part of it, but in a true debate, you're going to have live mics and be respectful of each other. Yeah. You look at past debates when they have 6 or 8 Republicans on stage for the primary and trying to moderate that, have 2 or 3 or 4 moderators and they're all asking questions. And in the middle of like Nikki Haley sharing, and all of a sudden Vivek says, no, that's a lie. You're lying to the people right now. So they have that leeway. And Biden wanted that taken away because of his gaffes and his fumbling and not being able to keep up in real time.
Oh, yeah.
So the next debate, they might not have mics muted. It'll be interesting to see how that, if there is another one.
I would like to see that.
I would like to see another one. I don't think we will.
I would like to see cross-examination.
From the people on the stage, not the damn moderators.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
I don't like Big Mama Kamala.
I don't know.
At the end of the day, I don't really care for Trump much either, but I do like Trump more than Big Mama Kamala. So I'm going ahead with Trump.
Yeah,
that's who I would prefer in. That's my opinion. And then you know what I mean. And then what I think too is they both agree on the one thing that I disagree with, and that's the Federal Reserve.
I mean, you have to have, yeah. I mean, that's
they both agree on that. Israel, stuff like that.
They don't agree on Israel. I don't think.
Well, they did agree to. They agreed.
They made it out.
Yeah.
They try to make it out like that, but when you read and look at past interviews and stuff, then that's where you see the truth. And it's just we could go on and on and on and on and hash this out. And the fact is that there's not a lot that's good. Yeah, the change has to start from the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to see a better nation, then get your butt in church. You know, if you want to see things change in schools, be active in school. One of the things I hated was like, and I don't know, I guess my parents, I don't know. My dad, even though he sucked at baseball, still was there for every practice. It's like people treat things like babysitting. So like, all right, I got my kids enrolled in 5 extracurricular sports. They go drop them off, and then parents go do their own thing instead of being actively participating in it. And so, so if you want to, then, I mean, you could look at any statistic, and we talked about it with Jeffrey, is like fatherless homes versus broken homes versus this versus that. And so it has to start at the ball, has to start at home. I mean, there's no ways around that.
Yeah.
And I think that at the end of the day, the federal politics is so far gone. I mean, like I said, there again, it's going to have to start at the bottom. It's going to have to start with local things, small towns, making a difference. And it's not about pushing people out. It's about being able to say, this is how I feel about things, and I'm okay with that you don't agree.
Yeah. I liked RFK too. I did like RFK, and then he bounced out, man.
Well, they forced him out.
I know, but I liked him. I did like him just because he was.
He'll be in Trump's cabinet somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And then he got Musk too. That's kind of like why I like Trump, because he's talking to Musk. He's talking to RFK.
I think Musk will be in the cabinet.
He's talking to some great people. So that's what I like.
It's funny to me that people try to cancel Musk, and he's like, they're like,
he's about to be a trillionaire, dude.
The first trillionaire.
You can't cancel that dude.
Other countries are like getting ready to issue arrest warrants for him and banning Twitter and these things, and so people ask him in interviews and he does tons of podcasts. He's very vocal. He's out there.
Yeah.
Of course, he's on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, constantly poking at people. But at the end of the day, they ask him, they're like, "Are you worried if you go over to so and so country going to be arrested?" He's like, "I own SpaceX. They buy their rockets from me.
Yeah.
Do you really think they're going to arrest me? Like, I'll cut them off so fast and they can start buying their shit from the Chinese. Don't care." How many Chinese rockets have made it to space this year? None. Yeah. And then they're, I mean, whatever. I don't care.
Back, yeah.
But so he's like, so he's this untouchable guy. It's like Dave Chappelle, the comedian that can't be canceled.
Yeah.
I mean,
they tried real hard too, man. They can't
cancel him.
Oh, they tried hard. He's so funny too. Oh,
Joe Rogan, they've tried to cancel. They can't. Tim Pool. I mean, there's this endless people that said, you know what, enough's enough. I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. There's going to be a certain amount of people that agree with me. They're going to stick with me. They're going to defend me.
Doesn't matter.
Maybe not life and death, but they're going to defend me.
Yeah.
And I'm not hiding behind them. I'm standing with them side by side, which is how you should.
Yeah.
And then
that's why I like them, man, and that's why I like them, Ryan. And that's why I go that's why I go that side, man. They're more grounded, and they're more grounded on where they're at, and they don't change with the blow of the wind. They're not fighting for the votes. Well, you know what I mean, to a point, but they're not like changing their ideologies or their thoughts or their who they are based off, I just need your vote, so I'm gonna say this. They're like, no, this is who I am, man.
Well, they want people to make educated.
And I respect that, because that's a good leader, man. And I don't know. I like masculinity too, just the same, man. Whatever.
There's that's the whole episode on that crap. So they want people to make informed decisions based on facts, and that's where I agree with them the most. Yep. I think it's a good thing, but I'm glad the debate's over. I can't wait to not talk about politics in the next episode. One of the great, I mean, when I look back, like, we're coming up on a year doing this.
Yeah, man, we've gotten better, Ryan.
I guess, I don't know.
Whatever, dude. I think so.
I think we've definitely got more comfortable. When I go back and read the about statement, I think that we've swayed from that a little bit.
Yeah, we have swayed from that.
And so at our year, we could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we have
how
swayed
the excluded
from that.
middle started. But at the same time, I mean, I think it's been.
We are still searching, though.
I don't
know.
No, there is, but we don't always look at everything through a lens of Scripture, because we don't necessarily always bring in a lens of Scripture to filter through some of it. So, and then also on the same time, the law of the excluded middle is either something's true or false. And at the end of the day, more often than not, it's still just our opinion.
True story.
You know what I mean?
For real though.
But with that,
True story,
with that
right?
comes the ability to be able to edit and like if you know what I'm saying. Like,
I like it, man.
how do I know? I mean I could give direct quotes from my computer, but unless I'm able to like in time, you know, do those things and there's ways to edit that crap in. I just do not want to take the time to do it. Yeah. When I uploaded the one of me and Jeffrey, it took me 10 minutes to edit it and 12 hours for it to finally upload.
Yeah, for real though.
You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know. I'm just quick at it. We're just on here. And besides that, like if we ever go live, then this is what you see is what you get. There's no editing on live. And so I have to be kind of already working towards that. So
yeah, well,
it is what it is.
It's what it is, man.
Yeah,
Moving along, dude.
Welcome to election season, Keeler.
Yeah. I like it, man.
You non-voting nationalist, you.
I'm not, you know, whatever, dude.
I'm gonna
Get out here,
I'm gonna get it. Listen, I'm gonna get stickers for us to say I voted.
I'm voting. If you know, I'm gonna vote for. I'm voting for Chad Wright, man.
Just write in somebody.
So I'm writing in.
I would. I'd be a whole lot more likely to vote for Joe Exotic than I would anybody.
Yeah.
The old Tiger King.
Yeah, Tiger, dude. No way, man. No way.
You know I'm full of crap.
Oh my god.
I love you, man.
Love you, Ryan.
Don't hate us because of our political views. We love you guys.
Yeah, do what you want. I'm doing it. See ya. One love. Shalom.
Do it.